Whoa, Granny, watch it with that thing. Crime is rising in Canada, and Canadians are starting to shoot first and ask questions later. Ladies and gents, welcome back with the rise in crime as we've been seeing throughout Canada in recent months and years. Canadians are concerned about their own safety and whether or not they can defend themselves. The laws in Canada seem awfully convoluted. There's been a lot of cases where people have been protecting themselves and find themselves in jail. And in recent times, Canadians are actually starting to fight back. Now, reminder, in Canada, we do not have castle doctrine for our American audience that's watching this, perhaps. There is no castle doctrine. You do not have an ultimate right to protect your property if somebody enters your property. Now, we'll get into some of this in this video, but in recent times, Canadians are starting to, pack heat, pull out their piece and take care of the problem at hand. And we'll see how that's working out for them. CCFR posting this on their X page. Watch, crime analyst and reporter talks with CP24's people on their show about a recent home invasion attempt in South Glengarry, Ontario. Police say homeowners fought back, shooting and, deleting the people that were apparently trying to bust into their property, and no charges were laid by the police. Let's have a look at this report here.
2 people have been shot dead during an attempted home invasion in eastern Ontario.
This happened Sunday night in South Glengarry. This is near Cornwall. OPP say the 2 people were shot while trying to force their way into a home. A third suspect got away. The people inside the home at the time, they were not hurt, but they were taken into custody and a firearm was seized. So OPP says no charges have been laid. They've since been released. The investigation, that is ongoing. And for more on this case, we're joined live by CP24's crime analyst, Steve Ryan. Okay, Steve, let's talk about this. The 2 people, they were taken into custody. They were released. The investigation's still going on.
Yeah, it is. And just because you are arrested doesn't mean you need to be charged right away. So you can be released unconditionally. And if the investigation gives the police evidence to believe under reasonable grounds that an offense has been committed, well, then they can rearrest you and charge you. So let's, for context, talk about self-defense. The criminal code says that a person can use as much force as deemed necessary, including lethal force, if there is imminent threat of grievous bodily harm or death to themselves or to someone else. So this can't be a spidey sense. There needs to be hard evidence that your life is in imminent danger or somebody else's life is in imminent danger, and then you can use as much force as is deemed necessary. So this may be the gray area where the OPP may want to get some legal guidance from the Crown's office before they lay a charge, because it really is an unknown area when it comes to what is self-defense and what is not self-defense, and when is too far, too far.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one because nobody gets a clear idea of what is too far. This is the interesting thing in Canada. They always want to dance around this and not give you a clear instance of how you can defend yourself. Now, this was also brought up in a recent press conference. I covered this one before. You can check out that video, but I'll bring this up again because many people have probably missed that one. But this is police were asked about self-defense and defending their own, people's defense of their own property and their rights in this case. And it's just unbelievable. They're just, I don't even know what to say.
There was an incident, same like armed intruders last week in Brampton, and we would like to know, residents want to know if they have a licensed legal gun weapon with them. And if there is a home invasion by the armed intruders, what are the rights of homeowners? Because last week, one of the Bramptonian homeowner, he opened fire on the intruders and they ran away. So in that case, residents want to know what are their legal rights if there is a home invasion by armed intruders. Thank you.
I love watching this. They're like, do you want to take this? I don't know if I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
Good afternoon, Neaton. Good to see you. The reality is, it's very clearly defined in terms of legislation and what a
It's clearly defined in terms of legislation. Let's remember that statement.
person can do to protect themselves and protect somebody else. And at a base grassroots level, a person is allowed to use a reasonable amount of force to protect themselves or somebody else. But
Because that's clearly defined what a reasonable amount of force is, correct?
This is a complex question.
Oh, it's a complex question. So it's clearly defined, but it's a complex question. The reality is well, it's up to the person who's viewing the case every time in Canada. It's up to the judge who's viewing it. It's up to them to determine what was reasonable in every particular situation.
That, I can tell you, that particular incident wasn't under, will always happen with consultation with the Crowns and legal minds that are really much brighter than mine. But the way I'm
much brighter than yours. I thought it was simple. It's a very simple situation. Now, CCFR also posting this one. Watch, 3 home invaders force their way into a home in Barrie Mills, New Brunswick, but only 2 got out alive. RCMP confirmed 1 suspect didn't make it. Let's just say didn't make it. A neighbor says he heard a gunshot around 5:45 a.m. A man and a woman in their 30s were at a home during the incident.
While the search for 2 suspects continues, the RCMP's forensic team was at the scene of the fatal home invasion. The RCMP has confirmed a man killed at this Barrie Mills home yesterday was one of 3 suspects who forced their way inside sometime before 6 a.m.
At the time, there was a woman and a man in that residence, both in their 30s, and then after an altercation had occurred, a fatality of a unidentified man, which was one of the 3 that had originally came into the residence or had gained entrance.
The other 2 suspects fled in a 2018 black Dodge Ram, and police say a light-colored Ford pickup truck is also involved. As of late this afternoon, no arrests have been made in connection with the incident. It's not known if the man and woman inside were the owners of the home. The RCMP wouldn't say how the man was killed, but a neighbor told CTV News he heard a gunshot at around 5:45. An alert-ready message warning the public of 2 men carrying weapons in the area was sent around 7:30.
Yeah, he probably caught COVID. That's what happened. He he just didn't make it that way. Of course, the man didn't make it because of the pew-pew that was at the residence. Now, this is causing a bit of disruption in Canada. Canadians are largely not knowing what they can do to defend their homes, and a lot of people are calling. There's calls on social media. We need castle doctrine in Canada, especially with the laws that have, with the crime. The police, they'll apprehend violent criminals and then they'll release them right back out into the public. Well, Canadians are saying, well, enough of that. I want to be able to protect myself since you won't. And of course, there's always the instance. It's the old adage, when seconds count, the police are only minutes away. This is the problem. Canadians want to be able to defend themselves. I want to know what you think. I want to know what you think, because I'm not making any advocacy here on what people should do, but I'd love to hear what you think in the comment section down below. Should Canadians have an ultimate right to be able to protect their property if somebody invades into their home? Should there be some sort of castle doctrine within the borders of Canada? Should this be allowed? Should we have the right? Forget about allowances. We should have the right. Should we have the right to protect our home against invaders by whatever means we deem necessary? Not should we be able to have to argue to the Crown later on whether or not we use the right amount of force against the individual in question. Let me know in the comments. I will see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.